Thank you very much, Susan, and well done to Susan and all of her team for all the hard work that they're doing constantly on improving and changing and adding reports. So I'll be back again later, but just some final thoughts from me at this point. It's all about engagement and teamwork. Right at the very beginning of the day, some of you have mentioned that, and we'll be referencing back to this on numerous occasions during the day. We appreciate that, we need to be working with you in order to be working and facilitating on behalf of you. So we've created what we call the 7 C's as our way of working, which we'd like to introduce you to today. So we know that we need to be customer focused and constantly improving our ability, our delivery, and our agility. We need to be creative. We need to be clear in our thinking, our commerciality, and our decision making. We need to continue to improve our communication. But most importantly on here, we need to collaborate, and we need to do that on an ongoing basis. So, with that in mind, let's thrive. I would now like to introduce you, or not introduce you because you know who he is anyway, but to bring back up Neville Moore, who's our new chair.
Good morning. Picture the scene. It's 1888. A well-to-do gentleman is sitting on a balcony of a members' club in Paris, enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning sun, reading the newspaper. Born in Stockholm, raised in St. Petersburg, fluent in 6 languages, interested in literature and the arts, owner of 100 factories across Europe, he was successful beyond most people's wildest dreams. What happened next was to change his life forever. As he read the newspaper, he came to the obituary section, and there, to his horror, was his life laid out before him. He was referred to as the Merchant of Death. The newspaper had mixed him up with his also successful brother's death and printed the wrong obituary, and what he read troubled him deeply. Alfred Nobel was the inventor of dynamite, but he had always envisaged that these explosives would be used for the benefit of mankind. Mining, building canals, possibly building a few department stores and roads, but unfortunately he was wrong. Nobel vowed that he would not be remembered as such and set about leaving his huge fortune to foster science, literature and peace. He changed the future. Alfred Nobel created and is remembered for the Nobel Prizes awarded annually in Stockholm since 1901. Nobody talks about Nobel, the Merchant of Death. People talk about the Nobel Prizes and what they recognise, what they promote, particularly peace. And from my own part of the world here, that iconic image of David Trimble and John Hume standing on stage with Bono with that peace concert in Belfast. And that was in 1998, and they went on to win the Nobel Prize in recognition of the Good Friday Agreement and the not inconsiderable risks that they took. Good morning. As Sue said, I'm Neville Moore, owner and managing director of Ulster Stores and current chairman of AIS. Now, there have been some absolutely fantastic chairs in AIS. Actually 15 since we joined, and I'm delighted that we have 3 past chairs in the room this morning. However, there was a slight degree of concern on my part accepting the position, as typically it's something that you do right at your end of your career. And I was reminded of this when I was doing a recent Google search, and it threw up 2 suggested ads. One was for chair stair lifts, and the other was for bedpans. And on this occasion, I was quite pleased that Google was only 50% right. Some of you will know me, some may not. But for me, AIS has been a huge part of our own business growth and my own personal development. So, as well as an honour, it was a very good reason to accept the position of chair in AIS, and I hope to put something back into the association. When we approached AIS regarding membership in the 1980s, we were a very small department store for the accountants in the room with no balance sheet, and that was explained to me at the time when I joined the business after school, because we made all our own fixtures and fittings. Well, we still make some of our own fixtures and fittings, but hopefully to a slightly better standard. And I can still remember Tom Sheward, who was the MD of AIS in those days, and this building is named Sheward House after Tom. But he came for a visit and explained what membership of AIS could do for us. It was entry to a club that not only combined buying power and discounts, but also access and networking with other successful independent retailers. And joining AIS for us was probably the single best business decision that we ever made. Young, hard to believe I know, and enthusiastic, I threw myself into it. The trade shows, the regional meetings, the conference, strategy committees, and yes, the odd late boozy night, where I've made friends for life, and I'm delighted that some of them are in the room today. I believe that AIS has made me a better person, and we are a much better business for it. I'm Neville Moore, the third generation of the Moore family and Managing Director of Ulster Stores. The business was started in 1925 when my grandfather acquired a small draper store in Church Street, Coleraine, Northern Ireland. My father, John Moore, joined the business fresh from school in the difficult times immediately after World War II. Combining a natural entrepreneurial spirit and hard work, he set about expanding the business. He acquired neighbouring shops to create one of the larger local department stores.
As well as hard work, the business was based on a set of values that remain largely unchanged. Honesty and integrity, agility, respect, positivity, support and encouragement.
The business has grown through acquisition, and as well as Moores, we now trade from the White House in Portrush, Clare's of Llandudno and De Gruchy, St Helier, Jersey. Each store rich in heritage, rooted in its local community and beside the sea.
Our customers now expect great merchandise, well executed in good environments, carried out responsibly by enthusiastic, knowledgeable colleagues.
We also need to deliver the unexpected with unique or best-in-class experiences and discoveries that tickle the senses and make our customers feel good about themselves.
Our vision is to lead in physical retail that gives a unique experience. This has helped us build a community that values us beyond shopping. We want to be extraordinary with shopping, eating, experiences and discoveries.
As a family business based on the coast, we value our colleagues, the communities that we serve, and the environments that we live in. We're very fortunate. So you can see by the / vacancies that we're still recruiting. So. COVID, as for most, really tested us, but also presented opportunities. And after that initial phase, we realised that it was time to stop digging and start planning on how to capitalise on these opportunities. And that planning process included talking to other AIS members. And the result is what internally we call SEED, but that's a plan to get us through the next 5 years and beyond. And SEED stands for Shop, Eat, Experience and Discover. And for us, our vision, where are we going, is to lead in physical retail, giving a unique experience, building a community that values us beyond shopping. And the mission for us, and that's the how are we going to get there piece, is to be extraordinary through shopping, eating, experiences and discoveries. And our purpose, the why are we here? Why do our colleagues get up in the morning and come into work? What are they there to do? Well, we're there to make our customers happy, to make every customer smile. We have 5 strategic goals supporting the strategy, and we're excited about all of them, but the one that really gets us going at the moment is the unexpected. And that's to bring a community together with unique or best-in-class service and discoveries that really do tickle the senses and make our customers feel good about themselves and hopefully us. And as part of that unexpected goal, we have a renewed focus on hospitality. We've just launched a new restaurant in our Portrush store, the White House, and that space breaks into distinct areas: dining, conservatory, library. That space is multifunctional and can be used for community groups and brand workshops. And we had an excellent example of that recently, where we had a young mums group in using the space and brought a real buzz to the store and to the restaurant. Importantly, much of that inspiration came from other AIS members, and I'm delighted that some of those are in the room today, so thank you. We've never measured membership of AIS purely on the financial, although that's really, really important. On Friday the 13th of November 1992, we suffered a catastrophic loss in Coleraine when Moores was completely destroyed in a terrorist bomb attack. Thankfully, it was late and no one was injured. The first phone call that we made on Monday morning was to Austin Harper at AIS, and it went something like, "Austin, we may have a problem with this week's send pack." And it's at times like that that you know how deep your relationship is. And for us, that relationship is multi-layered. Being part of that club gives discounts, exclusives, own label, relations, connections and learning. But it also does come with some responsibilities. We have those in our code of conduct. For me and for us, it's simply common sense. That you give wholehearted support to AIS, including attendance at shows. That you don't undermine AIS agreements. And that you respond to AIS communications on time. And you've no idea how frustrating that can be sometimes for the team here. When COVID came along, AIS was actually in quite a vulnerable position. I know Susan has hinted at some of that. But during that period, and Sue did cover this, we were very fortunate to have the exceptional services of Stephen McCammon of Menares as chair. Stephen and I know each other well. We've traded in the same region for years. In fact, I think we started acquiring stores or opening stores in other regions to get away from each other, but we've remained very good friends through it all. And battling, like all of us, with his own COVID business challenges, he found time to handle the succession process within AIS. And the short version of that is, it wasn't easy. He then went on to ensure that AIS could firstly survive and then be in a position to drive. And Stephen even agreed to extend his term to see the job through. We haven't had a conference for a few years, so we haven't had the opportunity to thank Stephen in this forum. And indeed, he didn't get the opportunity to enjoy the stage as I am here today. So I would just like you to show your appreciation to Stephen for his commitment to the association. Stephen, thank you very much indeed. And I do hope when the history of AIS is written that there's a chapter in there on you, Stephen, because you deserve it. AIS is a very different organisation to what it was a few years ago. The management style is very different. It's much more open, and I think that culture is changing, the culture changing to reflect that, and that was another reason that I was very happy to accept the position of chair. And I think it was really evident at last year's strategy session when we had a completely different atmosphere and level of participation from the AIS team, and I'm absolutely delighted that we have some of the wider AIS team here today as well. We have a customer local to one of the stores called Danny O'Kane. He runs a reclamation business, and when you phone Danny up, you get the following message.
Hello, welcome to O'Kane Reclamation. Press 1 for sales, 2 if you have something to sell, 3 for accounts, or 4, which is not a very good option. If you wish us to run around the yard photographing everything, sending you pictures, working on Facebook, working on Instagram, TikToking and going on like that, that is a terrible option because in our experience it never goes anywhere. So if you are serious about doing a bit of business, revert back to the good option, 1 or 2. Thank you.
If you knew Danny, you would know how appropriate that was. But look, I love it. To me, it captures what it is to be an independent business. That free spirit, the ability to do it in your own way, and have some fun at the same time. I believe passionately in independent and physical retail. And to me, it's pretty obvious that there are going to be fewer retailers, fewer shops out there. But those that remain will, out of necessity, need to be better. And what better than a well-run local independent? Now, you're probably wondering at this stage where Alfred Nobel comes into the picture, and indeed I'm probably starting to wonder that myself. But for me, the Nobel story really is about ambition and the future. So I would challenge everyone here today in the room, no matter what stage of your career or journey you're on, that you can create a different future for you, your career, your business, your relationship with AIS. And if we really want to thrive, strive, survive, thrive and drive, then I believe that we do need a strong AIS. But AIS also needs strong members. And that means that we do need to be bold and ambitious with aspirations to create a different future, work with each other and work with AIS. One of the losses or new challenges from COVID for AIS has been the break in physical gatherings and drop in engagement. And that's not to say that everything was perfect with shows, conferences, regional meetings and communications, but we now really do need to find a way to make that better. And I would ask you today to make a commitment or make a pledge to support and engage with AIS. To attend a regional meeting, even better if you were to host a regional meeting, and if you host it before Christmas, you'll find you've the best set up store that you ever had. Join a strategy group, volunteer to sit on the board. It's 4 meetings a year and 2 of those are virtual. Create your own network or support group, and we have found that really, really valuable. Use the hub, it's one of our major means of communication. Even better, leave a comment or start a dialogue, or attend an AIS trade show. Look, I know we're all busy people, but I can give you an absolute guarantee that if you get involved with AIS, you will get far more out of it than you put into it. As part of this club, you are a member of the UK and Ireland's leading fashion, home, leisure, buying and services group for independent retailers. But please don't take it for granted. We are stronger together. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much indeed.